It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace man, get it on. Hey, it's Dan from NorCal. I'm currently on a business trip in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Not only is everything just nice and functional, I mean, there's a lot of traffic, but almost every left turn arrow is a flashing yellow during off-peak hours. So just turn it and make it legal, and it's just really nice. All right, man, get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
No duct tapes or vans around there either. I'm adding arrows to my list. All right. Jolie Bartlett is hanging out with us. We got Mark Geragos calling in, who was there on the panel with Francesca Fiorentini or something. Mark?
How are you, Adam?
I'm well. Where are you at?
I'm walking the streets of New York as we speak.
Oh,
Figured
good.
I would call in since you've either already played the clip or you've talked about the clip. And
Yes.
I wanted to call you right afterwards. I was hoping you saw the clip.
I did.
Because I was going to ask you your impression. Have you already given your impression?
Well, look, my impression is just because you hate somebody or you want something to be true or you want to stop somebody, that can't find its way inside of the legal system. And if you speak with energy and you move your hands a lot, it still doesn't make you right. You still need to kind of come with the facts. But you and I haven't really drilled down on this case, so I don't know. I mean, I have a good idea of where you stand on it. I've not really found a legal expert who can cite what happened in this case, but you're as good as we got, so give it a try, Mark.
Well, as you probably know better than anybody because you've been listening to me for over a decade, all cases are won or lost in jury selection. This case was lost in jury selection. His best hope, his being Trump, was a hung jury that somebody, one of three candidates, either the two big firm lawyers or the person who, by the way, I've been saying listens to Truth Social or follows Truth Social. Megyn Kelly corrected me and said, no, it's actually they're aware of his posts on Truth Social. So I thought, and I said publicly, there was no way he was going to be acquitted in this case. And so sure enough, that's where we're at. And kind of the point I wanted to make in that clip that you played is obviously the part that has been going viral was not the part where I was analyzing it. So let's talk to you about it. I mean, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I used to say that if you're going to go and do this to Bill Clinton and you're going to say, that these are the kinds of things that we're going to go after a president for, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And here we are, 30 years, almost 25 years since Whitewater, and we've got the exact same thing. Interestingly, you don't even have to have an institutional memory. To yesterday, they started picking a jury and got a jury in Hunter Biden's case. Right. And you've got a Trump-appointed judge there, and bless her heart, she gutted the defense yesterday by ruling that they couldn't get into the form that was apparently altered by the gun seller, and that they couldn't call an expert about addiction. And, it's going to be a preordained. The only shot that Hunter's got is that he's in Delaware, and he may have a more favorable jury pool. In fact, I won't say may. I read some of by the way, I have not taught, even though Hunter is a client vis-a-vis Fox, I'm not involved in the criminal case, and I haven't talked to him about it. But I will tell you that based on what I read, he's got a better shot than Trump did in Manhattan. But if you're going to complain about Manhattan and Trump, which, by the way, I've never voted for Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter, but that case was an outrage to have brought. The prosecution on a theory that didn't require a unanimity on what the target crime was is unheard of to me. And then in the middle of the case, as Harvey Weinstein's conviction is getting reversed by the highest court here in New York, and they say you can't interfere with the defendant's right to testify by saying we're going to allow you to cross-examine him on stuff that is untested and irrelevant. They do the exact same thing with Trump. And anybody who's paid attention will tell you, why would you take the stand in a case where the judge has already found you in contempt, and all he's going to do is, if you take the stand and lose, he's going to enhance it and say you lied, and then boom, you're somewhere else. So both are outrageous, and we really ought to leave the criminal law alone when it comes to political exacting political revenge.
I agree, and people have wondered what Mershon was up to because some of his stuff was so outlandish that it seemed so obvious that they were going to appeal and that it wouldn't hold up. And some have speculated, yes, he must have known that going in, but the appeals process is going to take a while, and that's the way he wants it. But what is the judge thinking? I mean, by all accounts, he was doing things that were unprecedented in that courtroom.
Well, there's one of the dirty little secrets of the criminal law, and I first encountered this, and he's now dead, was the judge in the Scott Peterson case, Judge DeLuca. And he pulled me aside at one point during that trial, and he was appointed by the then Chief Justice in that case, who gave him my marching orders. We don't want a hung jury. It was 5 years after O.J. There had been all kinds of public losses in California trials. And so do whatever you can, basically, to make sure we don't have a hung jury, because that's not satisfying to the court system in some sense. And now, unfortunately, we've reached a point in this, in our world and in our justice system where I can tell you what rulings are going to be just by virtue of doing a simple Google search on a judge. That's very disconcerting. Now, are there exceptions? Absolutely. But when you take a look at some of these cases, the rulings are not surprising. My father, who I always invoke, used to say for 20 years, he used to call all of these judges DAs in a robe, meaning they were just carrying the prosecution's water. And, if you may say, hey, this is great if you're on my side of the aisle, except when you're not somebody that you dislike, and it's when it's somebody who you think deserves a shot, to have the scales of justice, a thumb on the scale of justice. If it happens with somebody who's got resources, imagine what happens when you don't have resources.
That's a very good point. And so what do you think? You think the judge is going to recommend jail time?
Well, this is, I thought Trump was playing three-dimensional chess when out of nowhere he agreed to the debates on CNN on June 17th. That was a week before he was found guilty. And he was sitting in that courtroom, and he knew he was going to be found guilty, and he knew that judge had no use contempt 9 times, by the way, I think improperly so.
Sorry, you're breaking
Convicted.
up. You're breaking up.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I said, and if you're Trump, you got to worry that if you get convicted, and this happens in state court, not as much in New York, but in California, he would have been remanded into custody. They would have put him in custody as soon as the jury read the verdict. So that's what I was saying yesterday in that clip with Francesca, that anybody but Trump would have been in custody. Normally that wouldn't happen in New York, but trust me, you piss off the judge like he's pissed off this judge, and he would have just said, you know what, I'm going to give you some time anyway for flouting the court orders, and you're going into custody. Trump, by saying he was going to do the debate June 17th on CNN, I think he preempted that. So, and the other thing, what's he going to do July 11th? I speculate 30, 60, or 90 days, and it'll be stayed pending the appeal. Dershowitz gave me an idea that I hadn't thought of, which is he suspends 2 years over Trump's head, a state prison suspended sentence. That's somewhat diabolical, because if Trump loses the election and he's got a 2-year state prison sentence hanging over his head, any violation could trigger a state prison sentence when he's not president. So I can see where Alan may have a point.
What do you make of James Comey, former FBI director, up there talking about how they could pull off putting Trump in jail? Like they could give him a double wide and put it out on the lawn. And it seemed, there's this, there's a clip that should haunt people. And the clip, and Mark will know it, it's the head of the DNC, or the Speaker of the House. Oh, God, what's his name from New York? Oh, the Jewish fellow.
Not Stefanik. You're thinking
Not
of
Stefanik.
Schumer.
Chuck Schumer. There's a clip you guys should all look at from like 6 years ago with Schumer on a weekend show going, you fuck around with the CIA and the FBI and you fuck with these people, they got 10 ways this Sunday to get you. Like, do not start mouthing off about the deep state and the FBI and the CIA. Do not do that, because they will fuck you up. And I don't know why he's saying that. Now, I don't know why Schumer's saying that out loud into a microphone on a Sunday show, but he's saying the quiet part out loud, which is Trump thinks he can come in here and he thinks he can come into our system where we run everything and he can start making his own rules just because he's the president. You better shut your mouth, because we run this place and we'll figure out a way to get you. And that's essentially what he did. Yes.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I remember that clip well, because I've got one of my close friends who I will not further identify, that I went to school with, other than to say that, was a longtime spook operative. Mm-hmm. And I talked to him right after that, and he said, yeah, that's exactly right. He's speaking, just as you said, he's speaking the quiet part out loud. He confirmed it. And how chilling is that?
Well, it's not what you look for in a society or a government, I think is what you're saying. Like, you get up there and start talking smack about the FBI and the FBI will destroy you is probably not. But the real problem to me is too many people cheering this on. The ladies from The View and everyone like that. Our own Adam Schiff, your favorite Adam Schiff, Mark. Last time I saw him, he was in your backyard. The point is
future senator from California.
Yes, they're all just taking victory laps, and I'm like, as you started when we started speaking today, be careful what you wish for. This is not what you want. You should, listen, I'm no fan of Hunter Biden, and I'm no fan of Joe Biden. The whole gun charge thing, it's neither here nor there to me. Yes, he was on drugs. Yes, he filled out an application, said he wasn't on drugs, and then he got guns. That's called Tuesday in the world of a junkie. It's not a big deal. Now, Ukraine, Burisma, 10% for the big guy, there's some meat on that bone. For me, not interested in the gun charge. And more people on the other side need to be speaking out.
By the way, on the gun charge, as somebody who spent longer than you and I have talking to each other with Dr. Drew, can you imagine the idea that you're going to penalize somebody who's an addict but thought he was clean, even if it's only for 11 days? You're going to penalize him for answering that I'm not addicted, as if that self-awareness isn't the last thing that occurs to you when you're an addict. I mean, it's mind-boggling and shows you. It reminds me, years ago, there was a DA who got out sideways with his boss, and next thing you know, they indicted the guy for something on a DMV application, and they charged him with perjury. And, it's just, when you have to go in search of a crime because you want to take somebody out, that shit, to me, that's worse than chilling. That's frightening.
No, I agree, and I'm just saying, once it's on, and then it's the Hatfields and the McCoys, and it's hard to unring that bell, man. And unfortunately, it's now on. Mark, let me give you a plug. Reasonable Doubt, of course, the podcast, new episodes every week, and shoot him a tweet at Mark Geragos, and tell your wife I owe her a phone call about a Deb ball.
Oh my God, that's true. She was haunting me. She said, "Get him on the phone," and I said, "No, you go see him."
Yeah. So anyway, we got a lot of Deb balling talk to get into.
You're not going to believe what she's dragged you into. Anyway, good luck. I miss you. I love you.
All right,
Bye.
love you, Mark. Thanks. All right, maybe that Chuck Schumer clip that we were referring to is pretty good. I would say Chuck Schumer, 10 Ways to Sunday news show, but it was pretty chilling to have him basically talk about how the federal government will destroy you if you start poking around and asking questions. Not a good plan. But also, it just seems like, do we need a permanent Washington now? You know what I mean? It's just like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and whoever. They're just there. That's it for your life. They're just there, ensconced, making rules, no turnover, no jeopardy,
no
just
pushback.
Crushing it on the stock market, man. Just crushing the NASDAQ every single year, year after year, going into year, 84, 85, 79, just been there since I was in high school. They're like local sportscasters in L.A. It's like Fred Rogan was on TV when I was in high school, and I'm now old, and he's still on. Yeah. He's still calling the Lakers. All right, we'll play the clip for you. Oh, it's Rachel Maddow.
Latest tweet, as you were just saying, the president-elect's latest unsolicited pronouncement on the intelligence community. This was his tweet just a little while ago tonight. You see the scare quotes there. The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. We're actually told, intelligence sources tell NBC News since this tweet has been posted, that actually this intelligence briefing for the president-elect was always planned for Friday. It hasn't been delayed. But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to
That's terrifying.
He's getting railroaded because they're saying Russia colluded with a Steele dossier that Hillary Clinton paid for, and they're railroading him with this whole Russian collusion thing, which doesn't exist, and he's fighting back, and Schumer's going, don't mess with the intelligence agency. They'll fuck you up.
Right.
Okay. All right. But whose side we on? We're with Chuck Schumer?
And he could say it publicly.
Yes, and we cheer him on. And all the ladies from The View love Chuck Schumer and the intelligence agencies fucking everyone's shit up.
Well, because we just love anytime anyone tells Trump to fuck off.
I get it. You don't like Trump, but there'll be another guy and then another guy, and it's all first things first. You cannot do things based on personalities. Like, we don't like this guy, we do like that guy. You can't call baseball games that way. You can't umpire that way. You cannot umpire that way. You can't run a society. We don't like this guy. We think he's mean. I don't want to have a beer with him. Mm-hmm. Or we do like this person, so leave him alone.
Yeah.
That's not how the system has to work, Chuck. All right, we got some news to do.
So you guys are going to love this. There's now a heat dome over Southern California, so the temperatures are going to get quite hot.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So poor
I'm going to have a slip and slide
Jolie.
on my body.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm just warning you that because of the fires, it's going to
Thanks
get a
for
lot
the
hotter,
warning,
of course.
kiddo.
I don't. By the way, the whole thing about atmospheric rivers or rain bombs or storm bombs or heat domes or whatever, I don't give a fuck. I'm done listening because I think it's all some kind of propagandized, global warming, whatever. Like Gavin Newsom's talking about atmospheric rivers and storm bombs or something.
Means.
He doesn't know what it means either, but that's why we're short on our deficit. Like, it's all bullshit. So be prepared. It's all coming. It's going to mean it's 4 degrees hotter than it normally is.
Yeah.
And that'll be that.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't worry about it.
Thanks.
But you're going to sweat your ass
Yeah,
off.
Great.
I just wanted to warn you.
Mm-hmm.
So Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's daughter The day she turned 18, she took off Pitt from her legal last name. She had it removed herself. She got her own lawyers, and her name is Shiloh Novell Jolie, was Jolie Pitt, and she removed it. She didn't want it.
Well, she can do that.
You can.
Yeah.
Is her birthday my birthday?
May 27th.
Yeah.
Birthday twins.
Gemini, knew it. I knew
She's
it.
in your birthday cocktail party.
That's right. She is now.
Think about this for a second. She took Pitt off of her name. The rest of her name is totally beautiful.
Yeah.
Shiloh, the Jolie.
It's musical, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Pitt.
It's melodic.
I don't blame her. I don't
blame
think
it.
it was a diss to Brad. It's like, look, this is not a Hollywood name, bro. I'm taking the Pitt out. I think it's a good move.
It's a good move.
It is.
Your voice is just like
It is an
butter.
attack on Brad Pitt, though. Because, look, here, okay.
You should see
Can
the rest of me. It's all butter.
Can we break down Angelina Jolie?
Okay.
Okay. Listen to me, everybody. When a woman hates her dad, she will learn to hate her husband. And then mostly, and the country at some point. If you hate your dad, you hate your husband, and you hate the country.
There's a pattern.
That's
sure.
that's,
And then you
that's
buy a
how
van.
it works. And if you get in with that person, she will hate you at some point, and she will turn, especially the females in the children department, against you because women need justification. So it can't just be, I hate your dad, but you think he's a great guy? No. I'm going to work on you. I think Angelina Jolie, has definitely poisoned her kids on Brad Pitt.
But we don't know that until she has another relationship and we see if it happens again. What happened with the blood, with like the Billy Bob
She
blood
hates her dad.
necklace?
We know that.
Then again.
And then why does she hate her dad? Dad's
because
a
of the name
Republican.
Voight.
John Voight.
Yeah.
She hates John Voight, and John Voight, coincidentally, Republican. So remember the part where you hate your dad and the country? There you go.
Yeah, but she could just hate her dad because he's a shitty dad. It doesn't have to be
be.
about politics, so we're speculating. But I'd like to see her in another relationship and see if she hates that guy too.
I would bet if John Voight's politics were very progressive, she would not hate him.
I prefer the comedic premise that the name Voight didn't sound good after Angelina.
Angelina Voight.
Yeah, she wouldn't have gone that
All right,
far.
but she literally doesn't speak to her
That
dad.
was a big fuck you, Dad.
And I think she's turning her kids against Brad. That's what's
Perhaps.
going on.
I mean, yeah, so
Who the fuck
insider,
wouldn't want Brad Pitt for a dad?
I would.
You would?
and she's trying to get into the
Wait,
business.
you would or wouldn't?
I don't know. He seems fun.
Yeah, I'm saying, who wouldn't
Oh,
want
yeah, he seems
Brad
like the
Pitt?
fun dad.
Yeah, you would. You
But
would want him
maybe,
for a
but
dad.
They want him as their daddy.
But listen, there's this term I heard that's kind of dumb, but it's called like the Disney dad. Like the mom's at home all the time with the kid, and then like the dad comes in on the weekend and is like, toys, let's go to Disney World, let's do all these things, and then he's like, see ya, I'm going to work. So maybe he was
fun weekend
maybe
dad?
he was the fun weekend dad or something like that.
Listen, I don't know.
Which is that a crime?
I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
Brad Pitt very well or at all, but I think she's the nut job and she's poisoning those kids. That's what I think. So why would you need to drop the guy's name?
Right. And supposedly the siblings also have been dropping the name publicly.
Right.
when
So
they're
you no
introduced.
longer, Angelina Jolie, you no longer speak to your dad, John Voight, and now your kids no longer speak to their dad, Brad Pitt.
Right.
Okay. Keep going. There's a connection. Very,
We'll
very
see.
deep connection.
We don't know.
I know 1,000%, just like I know that van was a van. I know this because that's what Angelina's nuts.
Right.
And that's why she doesn't talk to her dad.
But that's why, I mean, that's why she's so hot.
Yeah, it's true.
Because she's so crazy, and it's just like, oh, God,
And it's
yes.
funny, the kid looks exactly like a split
I
between
know.
Angelina and
It's
they look
crazy.
this exact split, but somehow shaved a couple of points. It didn't add.
Well, listen,
any
two
points.
really beautiful people the kid can have like super severe features. The most beautiful features of each of them, when they're all piled on top of each other, can be like a fucking funhouse mirror. Don't you think?
Yeah, well, no, yeah.
You know, it's like it's too
No,
much.
here's what I think.
Okay,
You can have a Christy Brinkley and a Billy Joel.
thank you. And the
That's
kid's
not
gonna
the
look
point.
hot.
That's not the point you're
Oh,
making.
okay.
You land in the middle.
Right.
You land kind of in the middle there.
Yeah.
When you get two really good-looking people, you usually get a pretty good-looking kid. But sometimes if the features are too strong...
That's what I'm saying.
But you don't get a funhouse mirror. You just get a not as hot as you should be. This is basically...
Watered down.
You know, it's like someone going, well, this sandwich it's got brisket, it's got an onion ring, it's got ranch sauce
Love all
on it,
that.
and it's got provolone,
Okay.
and you like bite into it, and you go...
No. Or what's that thing that
You don't go
psychiatrists...
no, but you go it's fine, but it's not what it should be.
What's that picture that psychiatrists go... What
Rorschach.
So it's that. It's like you look at the kid from this way and you're like, yeah, oh. You know, like...
No, I don't think there's a ooh. I just think it's not... Here's the deal. There's better look. You could go to a junior college and find hotter looking chicks whose parents definitely didn't look as good as Brad and Angelina.
Yeah.
But the daughter's still a very attractive person.
Right.
She's not a funhouse mirror.
No.
She's just attractive. But it's like saying, I don't know, it's like LeBron James and his kids, you know what I mean? You go, this kid's pretty good at basketball, but geez Christ, Dad, come on.
Two freaks of nature like Angelina and Brad, you don't want the best of them on your face because it's not going to go together.
Yeah, it's a delicate dance.
Yeah.
But see, here's my point. We're talking like this person is unattractive, but they're not
she's
at all.
Right. Totally gorgeous.
But then you just said funhouse mirror.
Well, because I was being a jerk.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was making a joke about because my husband and I used to talk about that. Like, oh God, what if our kid has the most severe features from each of us? And we would say he's going to look like a funhouse mirror, like these big lips and then like little eyes, and just we're like, oh God, you know. So we were like, oh wow.
Yeah. What if you want Patrick Swayze, but you get Don?
You get Don Swayze.
You know,
Don got
So I was
severely.
kind of talking about my situation, not hers.
We're talking Swayze. We're talking Roadhouse.
Yeah.
We always end up here some.
Really?
End up in Roadhouse. Yeah. Don Swayze looks too much like Patrick Swayze.
Wow.
Don Swayze's like the AI version of Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. Sad. Or no, I've always described him as the evil Patrick Swayze. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of LeBron, you remember how we started that school, the I Promise school?
I did. I remember hearing that no one is reading at grade level.
I'm surprised he didn't call it the I Lebramus school.
I Lebramus school. All right.
Well, so the first person to graduate college from after going to the I Promise school, he graduated early. His name's Anthony out of Akron. And LeBron was congratulating him. So in 2020, all 193 students in that inaugural class were given 4 years of free tuition to attend Kent State University.
All right.
Plus 1 year of room and board fully paid for. So it sounds like a good school to go to in that sense. And this guy, Anthony, he made most of his opportunity graduating early with a Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Justice Studies with a minor in Sociology. So LeBron went online to congratulate him. And his goal is to become a Secret Service agent. So that's the
well, now everyone's going to know.
Graduate.
Wasn't
not much of a secret
now
anymore.
Now he's not going to be effective.
I hope they had a good basketball team at that school, number one. Number two, I heard some story that no one was reading at grade level or something a few months ago, but I can't remember. I think it was LeBron's school. Anyway, I like the charter school stuff. I applaud him for doing it.
Awesome.
The school based in Akron provides students with free tuition, free uniforms, free meals, free transportation within 2 miles, a free bicycle and helmet, and access to a food pantry for their family.
Oh,
wow.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that's good. But I don't like kids getting into too much free shit too early because it's bad precedent for them. But yeah, you got to earn some shit. All right.
So
Dawson, see if there's an article. Am I making it up about LeBron's school and reading grade, test, state testing or something like that from a couple of months ago? I can't. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say he did it if it didn't.
Right. Let's see. LeBron James's school under scrutiny after 0 students passed math test, and that was from August of last year.
Oh. Well, maybe there's something to that.
That's what, I found that too.
Oh, okay.
It's really nice of him though to put. I know he has an affinity with Ohio, but it's good to put these people young kids at Kent State because they're used to cops shooting students. You know?
I got it.
I don't know.
That's all right.
I tried.
I'm going to lay down now.
we need
I'm gonna
Kyle
go lay
Dunnigan as Bill Maher to ask if this is a Dawson show.
So, did you hear about Mexico's first female president?
Yeah, finally.
So, good job. Good on you, Mexico.
Yeah.
But just
women are great at governing.
Just hours after the country celebrated the election of Claudia Sheinbaum as the nation's first woman president, gunmen have killed the female mayor of a town in Mexico.
Oh, God.
Yolanda Sanchez was shot in the town of Cotija, which she had governed since September of 2021.
What a turd.
I don't know what to. Mexico is in so deep with the cartels that I don't think it's governable anymore. It's like a narco state. Like, we're really going to have to just declare them terrorists and move in. I don't know any other way to save Mexico. You cannot.
They have such a stranglehold.
You can't run Mexico without dealing with the cartels.
She was the first. So Yolanda was the first woman to be elected mayor over there, and they do believe it was part of organized crime. She was shot 19 times.
Oh my gosh.
Died in the hospital shortly after her attack.
Wow.
Her bodyguard also killed in the gun battle.
19 times and made it to the hospital.
Yeah.
Alive.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
She's a tough bitch,
That
man.
donkey must have been hauling ass.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Sad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take the silver, take the lead.
Right.
That's how they do it. Mexico.
Have you? We'll move over to music. Have you heard Eminem's new song?
Oh, somebody pointed it out to me.
So it's his comeback song. It's called Houdini.
Ugh.
And it feels like a throwback.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not.
This is tossing and turning.
Sorry, I have it queued up. I hit the wrong play.
He was doing that on purpose.
But listen, if it was...
It's a nice palette.
I was like, who's he sampling?
You're on your own.
There it is.
No, this is just like one of his old first songs.
It's a throwback.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
I don't know.
But you
Steve
recognize
Miller.
the sample?
I literally, yes, it's Abracadabra, one of the worst songs ever.
I mean, it's
but-
called Houdini, so it makes sense.
I was driving here and a Steve Miller song came on and I almost knocked over my travel mug. My hand shot at the radio so fucking fast to change it. That's how bad Steve Miller is. Listen, he's good. Eminem is good.
Great.
Make your own music, though. I don't know. I don't get the sampling part.
Well, Steve Miller's very touched by it. He wrote a big old post.
Of course, because it's going to help him sell
Eminem.
some more tickets when it goes out.
Right.
And our friend Sugar Ray remade this song.
They remade Abracadabra years ago.
I couldn't remake this song. It's
Yeah.
like 10 minutes old, but...
Well, if you really have to say, like, guess who's back, like 100 times in the beginning of your song, it's kind of like...
It is his comeback song.
Just do a song, though, that's cool. Like,
Right.
don't say, like, guess who's
That's too
back.
much work for me. I don't want to have to
Any
start
song
thinking
that
like
does I heat up and I can't cool down, and anytime they go heat on the streets, I'm always like, oh, I'm out. You
This
guys-
is how Jolie feels in bed.
I know,
This is my
but she's
theme
not on the
song.
streets.
I'm just going to get a van with a waterbed so
Yeah.
I can control my own temperature. Thank you very much.
Steve Miller's so fucking bad. It's not really the fact that... My problem with people in bands that are bad, it's not the band themselves. It's all of their fucking brain-dead lieutenants who think they're good and who argue with me. That's the problem. I don't mind somebody making bad music. That happens all the time. I mind the people who think they like the bad music and think they know something about music and then argue with
And think
me
they need to
about
defend it.
And think they need to defend it. It's such, God. I mean, Steve Miller stuff is such shit. And the Beastie Boys. And another one, I keep listening to the 90s station on Sirius XM. That, was it the Minnesota sound there with Jimmy Jams and whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, this fucking guy sucks so bad. Every one of their Janet Jackson. Every one of those Janet Jackson songs sucks. It's dated shit. It sounds like dated shit now. Sounds horrible. It is not, doesn't even sound like music. I like this song. No, you don't. It's shit. It's dated shit.
New
Those
Jack
guys make
Swing.
shit music. Fucking drum machines, tinny, empty, a vacuum of creativity and actual sound. Like you find one that the Janet Jackson songs, and then you play it against the tossing and turning or something. It's not even in the same phylum. It's such empty, caloried shit.
I didn't even know there was Janet Jackson new music out.
No, 90s
There is,
station.
but even her
90s
classics.
station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't do new music. She's not a musician. She doesn't want to do music. You ever? Oh, hey, everyone! Remember that time you saw Janet Jackson play an acoustic set at McCabe's? Oh, you don't?
She's an entertainer.
Because she's not a musician.
She's an entertainer. She's
well, not me.
a
I'm not
dancer.
entertained. I'm annoyed because her shit sounds so bad. Oh, God, it's such junk. It's just junk, and that's why it only lives on the 90s station now.
Right.
It doesn't really
Doesn't translate.
get outside of the 90s station because it's just shit.
Do
Who was the
not
last
get Adam
acoustic
a
artist?
Janet Jackson album for Christmas.
No.
Don't do it.
Canceled the
Cancel
order
the
just
order.
now. Yeah.
Who was?
Who was the last acoustic artist you saw at McCabe's? I'm curious.
John Hyatt.
Nice.
Thank you. Yes. Well, John Haight's a musician, everybody, so he plays things with a guitar. He's not Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul, who don't do anything because they're not musicians. That's the rub. They're not musicians.
They're singers. I would agree
They're
with
not
that.
bad. I didn't know that they're singers per se.
But
I don't know who does what. I don't. Okay, they suck. They're horrible. Then Jimmy, what are like Jimmy Jam? Who do those assholes produce? Because they ruined music in the 90s.
I like one song that they've done.
What is it?
What's Jimmy Jam? I've not left my house in 5 years. I don't know what's happening.
This is the 90s.
Okay,
The 90s.
okay.
Stop thinking we're talking
Okay,
about now.
okay.
It's the 90s.
The 90s has come up a lot today.
They wrote and produced Boyz II Men's "On Bended Knee."
Mm-hmm.
It's a good slow jam.
All right. What else?
Let's see. So their big hits would be. Oh boy, I'm gonna look at their discography here. So they have 16 number one hits.
All right, let's hear them.
Janet Jackson, "When I Think of You," "Miss You Much," "Escapade," "Love Will Never Do Without You," "That's the Way
That
Love
was a
Goes."
good album. I'm sorry. It was.
Again, and then "Together Again," "Doesn't Really Matter," and "All for You." They also did the Human League, "Human." George Michael's "Monkey."
Oh, that's a horrible song.
Karen White's "Romantic."
Don't know.
And then Boyz II Men, "On Bended Knee," which I love. And then "Four Seasons of Loneliness." They did a Mariah Carey song, "Thank God I Found You." And then Usher's "You Remind Me." Also a good song.
All right. I hate all Janet Jackson songs. They're all fucking horrible. And, but then there's Steve Miller, who's horrible, too.
But he loves the Eminem song. So, and then the music video features Pete Davidson in it, as well as Shane Gillis.
Oh, it's so funny, as I didn't bring it up, but I was sitting here yesterday, and I looked down on voices that Kyle Dunnigan did. And down at the bottom, it said Pete Davidson.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him do it.
And I thought to myself, this is the longest I've gone without hearing anything about Pete Davidson in my entire adult life.
Right.
This is the longest I've had a run.
Do you even know who he's dating right now?
I don't know.
Isn't that amazing?
I've not had to fucking hear what the least talented actor on SNL is up to in the long. It's been like 13 and a half weeks since I got a fucking update on an unfunny guy from SNL.
He's probably on like a vagina hiatus.
I was like, and I almost brought it up. I almost brought it up to Kyle, but I didn't want to jinx it. I said, don't jinx it. This is the greatest run you've had of not hearing about Pete Davidson.
Reset the counter, Byron.
You got to reset the counter because I have thankfully not heard anything about Pete Davidson for like almost 3.5 months now. And I felt blessed. I felt blessed, like my cancer had gone into remission or something.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I silently sat here and I thought, I'm not going to utter
Adam,
Pete Davidson's
guess who's
name because
Why is
I
he
will
back?
I may summon him like Beetlejuice or Candyman. You know what I mean? And I all I did was thought it. I just thought it, and I said, "Don't say it."
So close.
If you
Little
say
girls
it,
all over slumber parties are going to be going, Pete Davidson in the mirror. Pete Davidson. Pete
say
Davidson.
Pete Davidson 3 times in the mirror. His dick will hit you across the face. So I sat here 24 hours ago, and I
So
said,
close.
"Bite your tongue, Em. Just don't. Just keep moving." Don't
Wait, did
say
he
the
come
word.
out? Did something come out about him? Did you?
There's this part.
Yeah.
From
me,
the 90s.
Me bringing him up.
Oh, okay.
You got to get out of it.
But he has
Yeah, we were
seriously
talking
been out
about
of the
Pete
news.
Davidson for a reason.
He's been out of the news for a long time. I fear, you know what the beach looks like before a tidal wave?
Too quiet.
The ocean
It's
just
too
recedes.
quiet.
It's too quiet.
It's
I think
too
there's a
quiet.
Pete Davidson tsunami.
And
That's
all
why I
kinds-
just
all
got
kinds
hit
of-
by it because
all kinds
I-
of penises
It was-
come up on the shore.
Less than 24 hours later, here's his name, right in my face. All right,
boy.
Pete Davidson.
There they
is
are.
No.
in the
He's
video. Okay, I don't know why. What do we need from him? What do we need from Pete Davidson?
I don't know enough about him
He's a likable
besides
guy.
he dates.
I wanna have a
hot
beer with him.
My
chicks.
fucking dad's a likable guy. We don't need to hear from him. All right, are we done? Now I'm in a
we're
bad
done.
mood.
Why not? That mission accomplished.
Jilly, this
You
has
just
been a
spun
slice
yourself
of.
into a bad mood.
I thought I could go without hearing Pete Davidson. I thought I could make it 4 months without
no.
hearing about what Pete Davidson was up
Well.
to because it's so important that I know what he's up to all the time. But I jinxed myself by thinking his name
Well,
yesterday.
Thought you were in the clear.
I thought I was in the
that's
clear.
hilarious.
All right. Let's give you a plug, Jilly Bartlett.
Thanks.
Instagram at Jilly Denise. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Website, JillyBartlett.com
That's
is
true.
where
Check her
where
out
you
on
go
Scissor
to-
7.
No.
Scissor 7.